Okay, so the 8th game. And Gelfand is it white.
Over to you.
Yeah, here I decided to play bishop g5. It's a system, normal system for a long game, which is doesn't have so much theory. Bishop g7, black play, knight d2. Many options.
Yeah, I used to play this with white when I was a kid. A
I
lot.
did too, yeah.
A lot.
For some kids, I think it's because it's simple. You don't need to have no much. I don't think it's a very good idea to play it permanently, but time to time it's
it's a very good system for people who are lazy to study mainline theory, basically, which I was throughout my entire life, and especially when I was a kid.
c5
is one of the main lines. Yeah.
And I happened to play it with black last year in Alekhine Memorial against young French player Maxime Vachier-Lagrave.
Which I forgot entirely, or maybe I would have played something else because.
And I had to suffer whole game. Yeah, he had some annoying pressure. I think I did the same. I took d5.
I remember from my childhood this idea that basically we get this symmetrical position, but my knight will be on c6 whilst white knight is on d2. So this is a huge advantage for black, and black is immediately at least equal. So I was extremely happy about this. And then 3 moves later, I realized that yes, I have a proud knight on c6, but how do I finish my development actually? And yeah, this is not very pleasant.
Yeah, I think I did something very similar. I played queen b6 immediately without h6. And I don't remember exactly, but I remember it was really unpleasant. And very similar happened in the game.
Yeah, here I spent actually for a position which looks as simple as this, I spent quite a lot of time trying to work out what's going on because I think
on this game Gelfand was a bit ahead on time, actually. For the first time.
It's only, and the first and only time.
Yeah, because I really dislike this position because I felt that if I let it drift for another move or two, I will just not equalize at all and it will be extremely unpleasant. So I went with h6. The idea being if bishop f4.
What about bishop takes?
I want to play. Yeah. Well, bishop takes makes my life slightly easier. Here,
at least it's a concession.
Yeah. Here, my plan was to do this, and try and get this bishop off. And if bishop h4, I was planning to do what I did in the game, queen b6.
Because let's show that, for example, nice line g5.
Yeah, I can't.
It's not possible.
I can't do this in a normal way because there's knight takes g5. Knight g3, hg, let's say bishop h7 check, king h8 and queen h5, and game is about to be over. Yeah. So I can't really get rid of this bishop in any kind of normal fashion, so I have to make this concession. I have to play queen b6, and I also have to drive the white knight to exactly the square where it wants to be, which is not ideal. So the knight is very close to c5, which is an ideal square for the knight in the structure.
So white is slightly ahead here?
Well, it's probably holdable, but you need to be precise and you need to be active about it, because if you do nothing, you will just, I mean, if you make some move and white plays knight c5 here, I think it's not, in terms of, the old informant evaluations, it's not even plus equals, it's plus minus. It will be a horrible position. So g5, knight b4.
As I know, nowadays they don't use it. They say plus 0.40, plus 0.60,
but that depends.
Which makes me laugh so much. Yeah, but probably those people laugh at me. Yeah.
But the thing about those numerical annotations are, the thing is, various engines have a very different scale. For instance, if Houdini gives you a plus 70, plus 0.70, it means your opponent can resign any moment.
Well,
pretty much. And in Fritz, in the old Fritz engine, sometimes you could still analyze when it was plus 1.5. So the scales are completely shifted. So I mean, if you want to do it numerically, you have to say Houdini would give white so much here, And
but also very much depends on the depths. Yeah.
Yeah, and on the depth as well. Yeah. Anyway, I went knight b4, knight e4. Trying to, first of all, once again, I'm hunting this bishop on g3, which is hugely important. And also I'm trying to occupy some squares to develop the bishop from c8 to this fantastic square on f5. Generally just a, a very harmonious way to proceed. a3, bishop d3, I think is very good. Bishop f5. king e2 more or less has to be played.
Another idea instead of bishop f5, maybe was rook d8 to play rook d8, somewhere take on g3 and play rook d6.
Yeah, but I kind of disliked it. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure I will hold this position. Yeah, I considered not this exactly, but something similar. But I was just extremely unhappy about having to hold something like this.
Yeah.
Maybe it is holdable, but
maybe not. Maybe not, because bishop on g7 is
but
really out of game.
Yeah.
That's the point of white setup.
You know, going
that this d4 e3 pawn chain are really cutting the bishop out of game.
And anyway, you know, there's absolutely no question who will be the happier one of the two players if we get to the position like this. So I wanted to try and do something more active. Bishop f5, king e2, and I played rook fc8, which in fact, as we found out later, it doesn't really, if I wanted complete equality, you know, without any fancy play, I could even maybe play rook ac8 as well, but
I don't see big difference.
Yeah, precisely, but I thought there was a difference, and it almost got me into trouble.
Also, somewhere, the king may leave an extra tempo for a king,
Yeah, that I actually did use it later in the game. I still think this is probably the more precise way to play, but there isn't such a huge difference. But if you play rook c2 straight away here...
Here's something I didn't like. Let me
I
remember
thought maybe there was some kind of a tactical shot, or maybe not. But the thing is, you know, with the pawn on b7, rook c2 doesn't really threaten.
No, but still, maybe it's a good move.
Maybe you could try this. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe a5 now. Rook ac1, h7.
Rook hc1,
Yeah, makes no sense.
You'll be in time.
Makes no sense.
Yeah. Well, I can probably aim for the same type of positions. Yeah, e6, just and no, but then you get the rook to c7. Then you get the rook to c7.
Rook c1,
Rook c1, knight e7, and rook c7. Yeah, that's not ideal. So maybe actually, because I also thought knight c5, I was absolutely convinced that white has to play knight c5 to provoke the b6 weakening, but in fact, maybe you could have started with this. Maybe.
That's the difference, what we spoke about, the classical game and rapid game.
Yeah,
in classical game, it's the probability to find the precise decision, it's much higher, and in rapid you cannot spend too much time, And if you spend, you pay off like I did in first games,
Yeah, but maybe I can play knight d8 here.
Yeah, knight d8, rook hc1.
Takes rook c8.
Yeah.
That's probably okay, I think. That actually is quite okay.
Yeah.
Something is happening with the screen, so I can't show it on the board, but basically knight d8 here is probably a decent move, which might hold. Anyway, Boris played knight c5, which I also expected. And
maybe you could also play knight d8.
Yeah, but my problem was at this moment...
Or bishop e4, Bishop e4, d4, no?
Bishop e4, d4,
knight d2, bishop g4.
Yeah, maybe.
King...
King f5. But my
b6.
The whole thing was I played rook fc8 precisely to play b6 here. And I expected knight b3. Whilst Boris was thinking, I realized that maybe knight a4 is a more...
No, but knight g3...
Yeah, dangerous way. But basically, what I would have to do here, and what I also should have done probably in the game.
No, here knight a5.
Sorry.
Here knight a5. That's the point. Knight on b3 prevents it, and here a knight becomes active, goes to c4.
Yeah, the knight.
And black out of trouble.
Yeah, this actually is fine for black. Sorry, I keep on mixing this up. Yeah. But I also, my initial expectation when I was thinking about this position, maybe even before I played, definitely before I went for bishop f5 and rook fc8, the point was to play a5 here, and this is why I kept the rook on a8, so that I control the a6 square. As a matter of fact, it was much easier and much more practical just to take everything and play e6, and play knight e7 next move, and start swapping along the c file. And that is a very, very prosaic way to kill off any hope for an advantage for white. For some reason, I was worried about the structure, and I was trying not to allow this. But in fact, in this particular case, with the knight on b3, which has no squares, it's just equal. I play knight e7, I will, you can play rook c3, rook hc1, so that I cannot take straight away, because I probably don't want to allow b takes c3, but I can play king f8, and then king e8.
But b takes c3, it's no big deal.
Or maybe I can
Take and now rook f8, king f8.
Oh, and king f8. And,
knight on b3 is really out of
the
game.
knight on b3 is not such a beautiful piece. So this was holding quite comfortably. And instead of this, I played this move I was so happy about, a5. And in the game it worked out fine. But the big question here was rook c2, which was much stronger than the move Boris made. And here I would have to be very, very precise, but it seems to, we analyzed this position a little bit before.
Okay, in classical game, you would you devote 10-15 minutes, and you find out. Here you don't have this luxury.
Yeah, it has taken us, even with the board and moving the pieces, it has taken us maybe 7 minutes to...
This help of alone?
Yeah.
What was your conclusion after analyzing?
The conclusion is I would have to immediately bail out by taking everything and playing knight a7. I would have to find this, and I would have to settle on this. But I think I would have, because there's really no good choice apart from that. And here, I think black is just in time to swap everything down, and black should be holding. There is still some, micro pressure maybe remaining after knight e5, but objectively this should be a draw of some kind. But after bishop b5, now black is just fine, because bishop d7, white absolutely has to play a4, because otherwise there will be a lot of tactics connected with this bishop on b5 hanging. For instance, after rook c2, the easiest way to demonstrate it is just to play knight e5 straight away. And black is slightly better. After rook c8, bishop d7, knight d7, black is suddenly very, very comfortable. Maybe, still a draw.
Rook c1.
Yeah, but I don't have to take on g3 now. I have my beautiful knight on e4 still alive.
Maybe it's better for you to take.
Yeah, I'm kidding a little bit about slightly better, but of course you have to play a4. And it took me a long time to work out what's going on after king f8, rook c2. Boris played knight fg2 because after rook c2,
no, it was my original idea, but I miss that black can play knight a7.
There's a hugely important move, knight a7 here, because I was trying to figure out, black has other options, like king a8, also bishop e8.
No, but then I'm better.
Yeah, but then you're slightly better. But the fact
that was my idea.
But the fact is, I don't actually need to protect the bishop on d7, because I can play knight a7 straight away. The rook is hanging, so you have to take on c8, and not take with the bishop. And there are no squares on good diagonals for this bishop. It has to go back to d3, and then bishop d7. And the pawn on a4 is hanging, and if you have to play rook a1, rook c8, then it's immediately quite obvious that black can have no problems whatsoever here with controlling the c-file and hitting even the pawn on a4. Maybe black is even pushing for some slight advantage here. So if rook c2 is impossible, then black is of course completely out of the woods, because knight fg2, I take on g3, I play e6. And now, black is just completely comfortable.
Can do nothing against this king e7, e8, knight a7. That's
I have a very simple...
the total elimination.
I have a very simple plan of bringing the king over and then starting to swap down along the c-file, which is what happened in the game.
Knight on b3 is really out of...
Yeah. With the knight slightly more active, white could try something, but the knight on b3 just has no prospects whatsoever. So. I can maybe even ignore it, but I thought.
No, but
g4,
then I play knight f3, knight f5.
I thought it was important to cut off these squares.
I think it's important move.
Yeah, and basically I'm ready to play f5 at any point, and we got to this position and agreed on a draw, because obviously nobody has any real winning chances here. So that's the end of that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.